Hello, YouTube. I'm a duck.
I think you just bit my finger.
Well, that didn't work. I'm gonna have to take that back to the drawing board and do some more engineering. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Tiny Cabin in the Woods. I'm Kevin. You may know me from Modern Self-Reliance, the channel that keeps building things. Special guests arriving today. They're small, they're fluffy, and they rhyme with truck. Can you guess? Ducks. We got a couple of ducks coming. They're foster ducks. You've heard of a foster duck program? Anyways, the city folk raise these little ducks as long as they need to. And they have the opportunity to give them back at the end, which is crazy to me, or they can keep them. So a lot of these families, they raise the ducks and then they give them back to, I guess, a duck sanctuary of some kind. And that's where I come in. So I'd like some ducks. I like ducks. Everybody like ducks. Duck, duck, goose. You always have to have a plan. Is to create them some sort of a house, a duck house. What's it called? Is it called a duck house? Is it a duck coop? Like a chicken coop? It's tool time again. Let's talk about this handy little guy here. This is a cordless sliding compound miter saw. Cordless. Did I mention it's cordless? That's the most convenient part about this thing. It's battery operated. I ended up finding it at one of those building surplus stores. They had just put it out on the shelf. It said not tested. I'm assuming they didn't have a battery for it. I think the value on it is about $1,200. I picked it up for $80. It is a very useful tool for cutting stuff the same size. If you're cutting, like, you want to cut a right angle, or if you want to cut a 45-degree angle, it's great because it's very precise. It's hard holding a board like this and then putting a screw in it. I'm gonna tack this, tack, then screw it after. Works smart, not hard. You know when those kitchen guys are installing your custom kitchen, and they're putting in the drawer fronts on the kitchen? Generally put a couple of brad nails in the back side of the cabinet, and it allows them to adjust it slightly before they drill right through it in order to put the handle on. So that's what I did, is I tacked on the sides. This gives me a little bit of wiggle room. I can adjust it on the side with a hammer, but the brads still hold it together before I actually screw it in. All we gotta do is the back wall. Well, we still got quite a bit to do. It's important when building a birdhouse to always use raw wood. Always use raw pine or raw spruce or raw whatever. Don't use pressure treated wood. It's treated with, well, the old stuff's treated with arsenic. The new stuff's still treated with stuff that's not great. Anytime you're dealing with birds and you're building something that's habitat for animals, you don't want to use treated wood. And I was actually reading about building a house for ducks, is you want to use rough sawn stuff so they've got grip when their feet are wet. Don't hit the pinky finger. I don't want to make it top heavy, I want to make it bottom heavy. That's why I picked a really thick, heavy piece of wood at the bottom. I don't want this thing to tip over in the water. So I'm going to do very little structure on the roof, and then I'm going to cedar shake it. And ideally, that's light enough that it won't tip over. Not every day you get to build with a 16-inch wide piece of wood. Isn't that convenient? I got a little breathing hole right at the top. If you've ever had birds, you know this already. But if you haven't had birds, it's important to be able to get into their coop. So that'll do good. That'll do to the front, and then I'll just cut a hole, like a hole so they can sneak in and be safe. I'm able to use the roof template as a guide. So I'm putting this guy in front. It fits bang on. And then I can use the roof. Then I can use the roof to just trace it so it folds down. And I can get right in here and clean it out. I'm going to line this with something plastic. And then I can take it out, shake it out, put it back in, and I'm done. Not good at math and want to find the center or something? Guess. So if I measure, the thing's roughly 26 inches across. So that's a pretty easy one, it's 13. But if you didn't know, you could basically shrink that number down. So if you went, it's actually a little bit more than, or a little bit less than 26 inches. 25 3/4. And if you're not great at doing the math, mark it at 13 on one side, and then 13 on the other side, and then pick the spot right in the middle. that make sense? So this is the door cutout that we're gonna make for the duck entrance. I don't think it's too big, I don't think it's too small. It'll keep some warmth in when they need to be warm, and it'll keep them cold. Oh, who's that? Hello? Oh, the ducks are ready? Cool. All right, I just gotta cut the door. I'm just building the coop right now, so I'll just cut the door out and I'll be there momentarily. All right, see you then. Bye. All right, so that looks pretty good. Duck can get in there. We just gotta go pick them up. All right, so you guys want to come with me? Let's go get some ducks. Oh, look at the little feet. Okay. Oh, that cold. Look at the little feet. Swimming already. Waddles and Puddle. I'm not sure which one's Waddles and which one's Puddles. You can say hello. Hello, YouTube. I'm a duck. Quack, quack, quack. I wonder when they start quacking. Do they like mature? They get their voice starts. It starts cracking. It stops cracking. It starts cracking. It starts quacking. I wonder when the cheep goes to a quack quack. So they got sent with this little granule food. This is probably like some sort of chick starter. I guess chick starter would be like for chickens, but this is probably like a duck starter. Well, these ducks are 2 weeks old and they're full grown at 6 weeks old. And the species of duck is called Orpington duck. This is going to be their temporary home for a little bit. I gotta get that. The duck house. The duck house ready go. I got in trouble when we were building the cabin that I called them shakes, and they're not shakes. They're shingles. So these are cedar shingles, and they're going to be on the roof. Because who doesn't like a cedar shingle roof? Okay, so the roof's done. I just gotta fix this guy. This is the ridge cap. So I think it probably needs some more cedar. Let's go find a branch. Maybe like a branch, nice little round branch. Maybe something sticking out. That'd look kind of cool. Let's go see if we can find a stick. Well, I don't have to look too far for a stick. This is a cedar pole. So I think that'll be a good ridge. Just checking in on the ducks. How you guys doing? Just hanging out. Chirp, 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 chirp. Hungry little buggers. This is a really cool tool. It's the steel pull saw. It comes with a fancy sheath. You can hook it up to your belt. I like the sound. It's like a sword. Shwing.
How do you feed them it?
I think you put. Oh, they just knocked it over. Look at you like this, and you hold your hand out. They're knocking over their food. They're baby ducklings. Who bought these chickens? These chickens were from a foster home, and now we got them.
For our chickens.
Yeah, they're our foster chickens.
Now they're ours now.
Ducks. Foster ducks. I don't think chickens all the time. It's probably because I've had chickens for so long. Foster ducks. Did you catch that I said chicken?
Yeah.
They're ducks, right? Quack.
What you find?
Foster ducks.
You're sprinkling.
Okay, buddy, I gotta get back to work to make their house.
But can I pet them?
You can keep petting the ducks. I gotta go work on the duck house.
Okay, can I pet them?
You can keep petting them. You can keep playing with, hang out with the ducks, okay?
Okay, I can be the mommy duck.
You can be the mummy duck?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want you in the bin, but you can feed them. Oh my God. Ah! See that? I missed it. Two little dowels right here, little pieces of wood, prevent it from kicking out. But when you want to clean it out, you just go like this. You get right inside. That's I like how my designs evolve. There you go. Like a glove. Okay, so I'm gonna drill some holes here. And so these don't fly out, and that should stay there. Those sticks are gonna prevent the front of the coop from opening when I don't want it to open. But when I do want it to open, I pull those little sticks out, and I can pull the front right off, clean it out. Smart engineering, I think. Ta-da! Duck house. Even a birdhouse could be interesting. Well, let's make the birdhouse even more interesting. So I talked about building birdhouse. We made a birdhouse, but I also talked about let's make this birdhouse float. That's the thing. How am I going to make a birdhouse float? It's made of wood. It should just float by itself, right? Let's add a little bit of insurance. Wood floats, but eventually wood sinks. Styrofoam. We're going to add styrofoam to the bottom of this birdhouse and see what happens. I have never done this before. So let's see if this works. We're going to tack it to the bottom. ASMR. Eh? So I'm going to use a X-Acto knife. It's one of the most useful tools. They're all useful. I'm going to draw a straight line first. Did you know X-Acto knives have a lifetime warranty? I've called them on it. One thing happened was this little wheel here, it broke. Was it me? Was it the tool? Who knows? Anyways, I wrote them a letter. They sent me a new dial. Olfa Knives. Great company. Highly recommend them. Made in Japan. Olfa. Box cutter. For those wondering, there is different types of insulation. This particular insulation is closed cell insulation, meaning it won't take on water. There is a different type of insulation. It looks like beadboard, tiny little pellets that are all glued together. That will float, but eventually it'll take on enough water that it will sink. These are specialty nails. They're called plastic cap nails. They have a plastic cap and a nail. They're already like this. Of course, my nail isn't long enough. Ah! Look at that. Plastic cap. Screw. I'm really interested to see if this thing's going to float. So let's go down to the pond and see if it does. Well, that didn't work. Is it sinking? Uh-oh. How is it sinking? It's made of wood. How did it sink? Well, that clearly didn't work. I'm gonna have to take that back to the drawing board and do some more engineering. Trial and error, I guess. I think we gotta make the platform a little bit bigger or maybe like an outrigger of sorts in order for it to... Okay, round two. So what I've done is I've attached a really, well, not really heavy, a heavy rock to the bottom of the thing to try to lower the center of gravity. Let's see if that works. Come on! It's sinking again. How is it sinking? Round two clearly didn't work either. I think I need to add the front porch to it, which is a little deck area, because it's basically tipping over backwards. So if I put some frontage on it, maybe it won't tip over backwards. Attempt 3 with the front porch on. Let's see if this floats. It's getting too heavy to throw. Let's just set this one in the water. Well, that's cool. Woohoo, it floats! Well, that's pretty neat. It's floating. I think I need to add a little bit more styrofoam to the back now that I've made the front so long. But it is floating, which is promising, and it's out of the water. I was doubting this whole concept for a little bit. I've got to put a little bit more styrofoam to get it a little bit more out of the water. There's that extra piece of styrofoam. Hey, buddies. What do you think? Oh. Shake your tail feather. I'm back after 2 days. This thing's been floating in the pond for 2 days. It hasn't capsized, it hasn't sunk to the bottom. I still don't quite like the way it's sitting in the water, so I think I'm gonna add a little bit more foam, maybe some balancers, some outriggers, and then we have to create sort of a cage over top of the whole thing, because I don't want, you know, raccoons swimming up to it and my ducks or mink. There's lots of little predators for ducks. It's kind of the same as chickens. So yeah, so they basically fortify their little floating house. I'm gonna go to the other side and see if I can push some water this way to make them float, like the host float towards us. Ever so slowly, it's floating back. That worked pretty good. So I came up to work on their little floating house, and turns out the ducks are, they walked all the way up the hill. Ducks have forgotten how to be ducks. What's really interesting is my dog thinks I'm paying too much attention to the ducks. There's not enough Kevin to go around. I don't want you to hang around with the ducks. I'm gonna strap 2 more chunks of styrofoam here and here, and 2 on the porch, and hopefully that'll allow me some stability. This thing just wants to float. It just, every time I turn around, it floats away. Like fishing with a tape measure. This is how you kill a tape measure. Uh-oh. He should have went like this. There. So this is that plastic sheet I'm going to put inside. Easy clean out. So that just slides in there like that. Front door goes on like this. So these 2 rocks are going to be my simulated ducks. So if I put 1 duck there, it'll tilt like that. These are probably heavier than ducks. I'm using chicken wire. This is the most difficult stuff to work with you can imagine. It's sharp, it's pointy, it's unforgiving, it tries to hit you in the face. I don't see any other way to do it. So let's just do it. Let's get her done. So these little hoops that are going to support the chicken wire are made of PEX. Now, to cobble these guys together, I'm using a stick. So I push the stick into one side, it gives me a coupling, and then I take the other side and push it in. There. I'm not good at hula hooping, but I can make them pretty good. The hoop system done. So this is adding some little structure and some rigidity to the chicken wire. I think it's, and in this case, it's duck wire. It's offering some rigidity to the structure. Hopefully that'll just sit in the water quite nice and then give the ducks a safe place to hang out. So I fashioned a door out of another piece of pipe and some mesh. So this guy here, I don't know if you can see that, but that's going to be the door. So that's going to fit right inside there. It's removable, easy access. So when these ducks are old enough to fend for themselves, you don't even need the door at that point. You just have a safe place. So just basically lift it up, slide the door in place. Oh yeah, that's easy to carry. It looks like the largest minnow trap in the world. I'm pretty certain it's going to keep my ducks safe. All right, let's go for the maiden voyage. Get in the water. I don't want to go for a swim today. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. They can swim when they want to, and then they can just relax when they don't. So it's got the options for both. I think they've been so imprinted on humans is that they just don't know how to be a duck. Like they're fine when I'm in the pond. They like hanging out when I'm in the pond, but they don't necessarily like to be alone. So I don't know. Maybe I've got to sit in the house with them. Go for a swim in there. There's your friend. Come on, little friend. Come on, little buddy. Oh. There you go. Go over there. Go over there. Come over there. Go over there. You're floating. Come on, little buddy. Where's the other one? Come on. Come on. Where's the other one? Right. Go that way. Go in your house. See, look, there's food over there and everything. Duck, duck. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep. I think it's a success. It's floating. Safe. Nothing can get in there. They've got their hybrid house / water. I think we're all set. Beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep.